Hello, everyone. COVID-19 has brought out new dimensions, not only in our personal lives, but also on the various organizations and Indian associations around Australia. While normally the associations have been associated with a lot of festivities and festivals they do, but now was the time when a lot of them stepped up and helped not only the students and the temporary residents who were stranded here, but also found a new dimension to the activities. ISWA is the Indian Society of Western Australia, a dynamic society which has been serving the needs of the Indian Australian community in Western Australia for a long time. They have come up with something extremely special, and I was keen for all of us to know more about what they've been up to. For this, I have Supriya Guha, who is the president of ISWA, and Satish Nair, who is a member of ISWA, to share with us the activities they've been up to. Welcome to Indian Link.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pawan.
Now, before I start, in short form, tell me about the origins of ISWA. Supriya, if you can help us with that.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Pawan, for having us here today. So Indian Society of Western Australia was incorporated in 72, but it was in existence even before that. So we are a 52 years old organization.
52, that's a big
52,
number.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we celebrated our Golden Jubilee in 2018. And for the last 50 years, ISWA has been playing a pivotal role in supporting the Indian origin, the Indian diaspora in WA, as well as integrating them with the Western Australian community.
What's the number of Indian diaspora in Western Australia?
So it's about, its number changing every day, but its last count I think I heard was 120,000 plus and growing.
Wow, that's a big number.
Yeah, it is a big number. And a big portion of that are first generation Indian Australians, which means, very much deeply rooted to the ethnicity.
Fast forward to 51 and a half years,
yeah.
March 2020. You had been doing a lot of things in the past for the community, but March 2020, when COVID-19 struck, you had to reinvent yourselves. Can you share with us what did you do from March onwards?
So March was a time when also the management committee was about to change as well. So I was a general secretary in the previous committee, and then March, April was the time when the committee was getting handed over, and I got elected as president, and Satish ji also got elected as the assistant secretary. So on April 5th, this new committee took over, and that is the time that COVID hit in its full form. So the normal decorum of the committee, what ISWA does, budget, plan for the year, everything went for a toss, right? So, and we were almost like sitting and thinking, okay, probably this is our opportunity. I mean, probably converting this into an opportunity to really serve the people. So we changed the gear. We had a different level of planning this time. And we thought, okay, because we cannot meet, because of all the social distancing, let us plan on how best we can support our Indian origin people here in this time. So we put aside all our other agenda, and we decided to completely focus, immediate focus being COVID-19 support. So what we did, Pawan, is that we realized that it is something where all Indian communities need to come together. That's something that we realized on day one, because this is something that neither ISWA nor any other independent individual association can serve. So we called for a meeting for all Indian associations, and we went for a historical joint fundraising effort where 47 Indian associations signed up with ISWA to stand together, with the endorsement from Consul General of India in Perth as well. So we all came together, and we built a central COVID support team, which has been being led by Satish Nair ji on the call as well. So he's been our central COVID support lead, if you like. So for the last 3 to 4 months, Pawan, this team has been acting like, as a coordination point, central point for the entire Indian community, and taking it to the authorities, taking it to the government, getting the support from them. And just probably one point I'll finish with that, we started organizing a weekly a forum, a video call with the Indian international students in WA, because they are the ones who are in the most distress. And in that call, we got representation from OMI, we got representation from all the state government departments, Department of Home Affairs. All of them used to attend the call with us. Even Education Minister Honorary Sue Hillary also attended the session once. And what they did for us, Pawan, is that it basically exposed the entire problems that Indian students are facing here, and accordingly, we started getting help from all spheres of the government and the community. So
no, that's fantastic. So 120,000 Indian Australians in Western Australia were able to turn the spotlight on the temporary resident, the students over here. ISWA led the charge, and that's been fantastic. But there's something very special which you guys have done. Tell me, what is that? Because I think that's a role model for other Indian associations in Australia to do something beyond other things which they're doing during the COVID time. Can you share that with us?
So then all of these people, they started saying that, okay, now we saw you are providing so much of help. Can't you just arrange for a flight? Let us just go back, right? So we started like shaking all the trees for the last 1 month. And Satish ji has been playing a lead role there. We've been shaking all the trees. We've been barking up the trees, like be it all the airlines. I think there's no airlines in the world that we haven't probably called and said, can you guys just arrange for a special flight for us? And there are a lot of challenges. There's a cost. The price that they're offering is like sky roofing and all of that, right? And then there are permissions and all of that. So that is the time we thought, okay, we have to solve this problem. So this is this repatriation flight project that we have been running for last 1 month with the sole idea of we have to have at least one flight as a starter. Why one flight as a starter? Because to demonstrate to the community that this is doable. And if we can do for one flight, I am sure then there will be others who will be supporting other flights.
So you can duplicate it. So have you done your first flight?
So the first flight took off on 22nd of July.
Which airline? Delhi. Tell me how many passengers.
Okay, so Satish, I think you can take over and probably give a bit more details on the flight and what was the situation there. Yeah.
I'll going back to the flight thing. I'll start off with saying we of course we wanted to do it when so many people requested us. Over 1,200 people, 1,250 something registered with us, and they were requesting, and we had to stop the registration because the numbers were really too big, So we also wanted to ensure that the deal that we get for our community should be one of the best. So if you see the price that was quoted for the Delhi flight is the lowest in Australia. No flight has gone at that price. So we were very successful in negotiating and talking to various partners, who could.
How much was the price?
13.15.
Oh, that's fantastic. Because even the Vande Bharat flights were around 1680, 1780.
1700
So
plus.
Which airlines did you get in bed with on this one?
We were looking at Malaysia and Garuda. But Malaysia, there was some paperwork issue, and then finally we settled down for Garuda.
This is not the direct Malaysian Airlines as such. I think what we went with is a charter company called Kappa Jet. So Kappa Jet is a global charter company who actually came to the rescue.
Yes.
And they are the one who scheduled.
And how many people were on this first flight?
289. And
so tell me, I assume you both were at the airport to see of these passengers.
Yes.
What was the feeling like at the airport when people were actually queuing up to get inside the plane?
Yeah, people started queuing up almost 4 hours before the departure. I don't know, it is very unusual that the entire airport was full of Indian nationals, because there is no other flights taking place. And you know how Indians go, one person goes and 5 people come to see them off. So there were probably 1,000, 1,500.
There were 1,000 plus people at the airport.
Lots of emotions.
Oh yes, amazing. Emotion was free flowing, Pawan, on that day. If I can really put it very honestly, right? Emotion was free flowing. People were so emotional, and blessings were like all over the place. They're so thankful to ISWA for organizing that. When we feel so humbled that day, that we've been able to do something really great for the community.
No, look, that's fantastic because. As a community organization, you put together and really serve the community, which is what it's all about. So you've had one flight go off. Tell me what's in line for the near future.
Pawanji, tomorrow we have another flight going to Delhi, and some connections as well organized from Delhi for Ahmedabad, because we had declared Ahmedabad and Bangalore flight. But and initially people were very enthusiastic, but we see that situation in India is changing with COVID. So people are slightly skeptical of the,
Going
the
back.
test and quarantine rules for each state. So we are keeping it simple. We are flying another one tomorrow. So, yeah, we will be there tomorrow night as well at 9 o'clock. And the flight is at 1 o'clock, Garuda. Again,
And they get to India. Before we finish up, tell me one story of a passenger which really touched you and made this entire exercise and the challenges worth it. Can I start with you, Satish?
I remember meeting a young lady at the airport, and her baby was 6 months old. So I said, was he born in this COVID times? So yeah, we started chatting and having fun. She said, yeah, my mother-in-law came here to help me for this delivery, to assist. And now the son has started, he's bubbly and he's cheerful, and things have changed. So, but the mother-in-law was very keen to get back because of her medical condition. And this lady, or the family, was absolutely thanking us. So,
no, that's fantastic. Supriya, what about you? Anything which strikes?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think the exact wording was, there are 100 stories behind each of us, and so much thanks to ISWA that someone quoted at the airport. I think the only story that I will quote, Pawan, is that, so there was a student here. There is a student here whose parents came here to visit him, and during this COVID time, his father was diagnosed with cancer, pancreatic cancer. And things started going so bad because, as you all know, that cancer treatment is expensive. And because they're visiting, they don't have any coverage from the government or any Medicare or any other facility. And they were quoted like almost a few $1,000s every day for the treatment. So they went completely crazy, right? So they were like almost door knocking to the High Commissioner, to the consul, almost like begging to, please at least send us to India so that we can get to the treatment. But again, we understand what could Consul General do, right? Because there's no official flight going from Perth. So they are also feeling a bit helpless. I think that's one situation where I'm very proud that that's one story where, because of this flight, he actually could send his father back to India where he can get that help. So that was a very emotional and a very critical one, because it's a lifesaver in my opinion.
Yeah, that's extremely touching. Well, gentlemen, and your entire team, you have done a fantastic service to the Indian Australian community in Western Australia, and have been role models to not only the other associations of Indian background around Australia, but to other people in general. So crisis time brings out heroes in the communities, and you and your team are absolute champions at the moment. Congratulations, ISWA. Thank you for joining us.